Welcome to another episode of my podcast That's Fine With Me. Today we're going to talk about Louis Vuitton and their war with Molly Tea. This is a Chinese brand based and located at first in Suzhou, if I'm mistaken, China. You probably saw on Weibo, Red Note, or any other Chinese brands, maybe even somewhere on TikTok, a huge scandal between Louis Vuitton and Molly Tea brand. And then you're like, what is going on here? Influencers, they're boycotting Louis Vuitton. They're not buying their bags, or they're throwing away bags, $4,000 bags, and instead they're picking Molly Tea, the cups with Molly Tea brand, and they support Chinese brand. And you're like, okay, what is going on? And if you watch only 15 seconds of this viral clips, then you're like, oh, I got it. Again, corporate machine conglomerate that is $400 billion net worth conglomerate is ripping off a small Chinese brand. What is going on? Why do we have to boycott them? And maybe I'm going to choose a Chinese brand side because they deserve it. But instead, you can see a tendency or some sort of like pattern where you know that a small brand that owns 300 shops over China right now is a huge brand with 2,500 shops all over the world. And you're like, what's going on? And we're going to try to answer the questions. How did Molly Tea become that popular and could afford a rebrand? Then we're going to look deeper into what was happening behind the scenes and what led to this situation. The third question is, why a court in Suzhou, China, ruled in favor of Louis Vuitton instead of Chinese brand? And the final question, why is there an online rage against Louis Vuitton in favor of Chinese brand? We're going to dive deeper. In 2021, Molly Tea was just a simple boba tea shop with fresh tea, with fresh milk, where people could come and buy something in a very affordable price from $2 to $3. And in 2024, they tried to rebrand and they tried to change their logo. They even filed some documents to patent their new logo that's going to be very similar to Louis Vuitton brand in a clear aesthetics in the color black, and then they changed a little bit the diamond shade in the center. And you're like, oh, so were they allowed to do so? No, they were not. They were declined because Louis Vuitton started in 2020 or 2021 almost simultaneously with Molly Tea, their new campaign. So they stopped focusing on luxury goods and products only. They wanted to expand into lifestyle content and lifestyle branding. And to achieve that, they opened a couple of cafes or restaurants. The first one was in Japan, but if I'm mistaken, it wasn't in Tokyo, or maybe it was in Tokyo. I don't remember. So they started opening up some new shops. And in 2022, they opened a shop in China. And of course, where every single Asian is obsessed. Okay, like not every single Asian, but I lived in China. I work with Asians, and I know that Asians, they absolutely love retail luxury goods, and they love Louis Vuitton, Tom Ford, all of this, like Chanel whatsoever. And primarily Louis Vuitton or any other corporate machine, they're focusing on Asian buyers in particular because they know they're willing to pay. That is the main reason why Molly Tea, they saw a chance and opportunity. They're like, okay, if we give or get a logo that is very similar to Louis Vuitton, and we know that people, they're trying to get closer to this lifestyle of luxury goods, and Louis Vuitton, they're not stupid. They know that people, not poor people, but someone who can't afford a $4,000 bag, which is majority of people, they would love to get still this luxury experience. And to give this luxury experience is to provide something at a very affordable and cheap price. This is a cafe with a coffee that's going to be at a cost of $15 or $20, maybe a little bit more right now. And that is the main reason why they knew there's going to be a student probably that doesn't really have a lot of money and going to buy $15 or $20 coffee, take a selfie, take a photo, publish this on Instagram, and they're going to make $1 million deal out of it. That is the main reason why Molly Tea, they were like, okay, we would try to associate with Louis Vuitton. We're going to print out their logo, and from afar, like 5 feet afar from this, people are not going to recognize that it's not the exact same Louis Vuitton logo, and subconsciously people know, and it has become viral over the internet. I don't know, is it still viral, or it had become viral and it stopped being viral at some period of time. I think that it's still very popular in Asia to go there and spend a couple of bucks on a coffee. And now Molly Tea were confident that they could associate with food and food chain in particular in Louis Vuitton. And of course, they filed the logo or pattern. But China National Intellectual Property Administration, known as CNIPA, they're not fools. They know the difference, and they know if you insert a smaller shape or you change the circle shape in the center of the logo to a diamond shape, people, they're still going to recognize it as a very similar logo from Louis Vuitton. And they literally banned Molly T from using this particular trademark. But you think that they stopped? No, they didn't. They did not. They changed the entire campaign, printed this almost overnight, and they were selling this in their stores almost the next day. And they expanded from 300 shops to 2,500 shops all over the world. Of course, they started around, I would say, 2024, maybe late 2024. And in May 2025, Louis Vuitton like, knock, knock, knock. You are using our logo. You're using our brand. And they filed a lawsuit against Molly T. But it's very interesting. You were like, but they're so dumb. CNIPA, or Chinese National Intellectual Property something, guys, I keep forgetting the long name, restricted, banned them. Why they're so stupid to do this anyways, and they knew that they're gonna get a lawsuit from Louis Vuitton eventually. But in retail, there's a common practice to steal or borrow a logo from a very successful and super powerful brand or conglomerate, then print out as fast as humanly possible brand logo over their, I don't know, cups or some anywhere they could do this, and then get the profit as much as possible. And of course, it's going to take time while the lawsuit is going. Everything is in process, and they're going to break a bank during this period of time. Even a couple of months is more than okay for them to earn an insane amount of money, because instead of $15 or $20 for a cup from Louis Vuitton, they could get Molly T with a similar branding, with similar aesthetics, and then get it for $2 or $3, post it on Instagram and saying like, much cheaper, but looks expensive. And of course, customers are going to look at this logo 5 feet away, and they're not going to recognize there's a difference in a diamond shape or like circle shape. And especially for people that are not that good in luxury brand deals or anything luxury, they don't even know what is the real branding of Louis Vuitton. That's how they operate. So of course, Louis Vuitton filed a complaint or lawsuit against them, and they won. And of course, they were forced to pay $1.5 million or 10 million yuan. They had to pay that amount of money. And yes, Chinese court ruled in favor of Louis Vuitton. And it is very interesting. But the Molly T, they try to play victim. They were not only forced to pay the money, they were forced to get an apology, a public apology to Louis Vuitton, and of course take down all the logos or anything from their websites, and they were not allowed to sell any more products with this logo. And like they started playing a victim in the story. And I would say that, in my opinion, probably sometimes Chinese, they're too aggressive at this point when they try to defend their own company, and they even tell that a Chinese court should have ruled in favor of Chinese brand because they have to support their domestic business, which I totally disagree. And the reason is pretty simple. When I talk to some business owners from Amazon, not even Amazon, from all over the world, there are different type of platforms. And I'm from Russia. We don't have Amazon. We have a little bit different platform, but at the same time, there's exact same problem. And with different influencers that showcase this problem over and over in their social media, that they're smaller creators with limited budget, and they have beautiful designs. They invest their money and energy into creating some cool ideas. And then there's some Chinese company or manufacturer that literally copy-pasted and then mass-produced over internet or all over the world, as well as AliExpress or any Taobao, Shein quality products, where they literally use a celebrity as a photo reference, that they have the same outfit without a permission of celebrity, and they sell you something outrageous that has nothing to do with the shape, form, or whatever of this dress. And another really cool example, I guess, is when you see people like speed fashion or like fast fashion, where design is Very beautiful, but it is stolen. The design of, I guess, a smaller creator is stolen. And then you would tell me that it's okay to steal from Louis Vuitton because this is a conglomerate. But then if someone stole from a smaller creator, that would be bad. I think it's bad in all the cases because let me tell you guys, when they try, all these influencers and Molly T in particular try to defend this brand and tell that this logo is a traditional flower, if I'm mistaken, that's been used in different ornaments of China, like on their banknotes and in their art, and it was discovered in probably like thousands and thousands of years ago, which was not patented thousands of years ago, and Louis Vuitton patented this particular logo in 1986 in China. So it wasn't patent. And right now they're like, we are allowed to use it because this is a traditional Chinese brand, or not even brand, like Chinese art that we're allowed to use. Yes, you are allowed to use, but you did not use any design that's going to make it unique. So you could use, of course, the shape, but create a little bit different color. You could create a little bit different font. You could create a little bit different shape. It could be wider, it could be smaller, but they wanted to create a similar logo as Louis Vuitton to play on the design of a famous brand. And then when Chinese influencers, they're sitting there in their rooms saying, oh, poor Molly T, they were robbed because of this situation. No, they were not. They literally earned millions of dollars, and because of you right now, still pushing this narrative that it's okay to steal from a big brand, you're pushing the narrative that it's okay to steal overall. And then while a Chinese brand expanded tremendously because of this logo and this concept, you're still not you guys, not you, but like these influencers, they're still promoting that it's okay to use a traditional color or traditional ornament, and Louis Vuitton, they're in the wrong. They're not in the wrong. Create your own design and do whatever you want. Create your own aesthetics and do whatever you want. But your aesthetics didn't work for a long period of time. It was only 300 chops, which is massive in my opinion. But now with someone's borrowed or like stolen design, you gained 2,500 stores all over the world, and you have a nerve to do that. It's aggressive PR and marketing. Aggressive. And I'm on Louis Vuitton's side. Today, I'm on their side. I do really think that conglomerates and huge brands such as Louis Vuitton, they're ripping people off. And sometimes the quality is super cheap. It's very bad for the money they're asking. But at the same time, I don't really want to look at this from a perspective of a person who is criticizing them for the quality and the prices. I want to see this from a perspective that someone has a nerve not only to steal and rob people or the company from their original logo, but then have a nerve to say that we're the victim here in the story when you're not. You really try to capitalize on the aesthetics. Okay, guys, I am pissed. I mean, they know that it works and that $1.5 million is literally nothing compared to how much they earned from this robbery, I'd say, in a way. It's literally nothing. It's like an investment in PR strategy. Okay. If you want to support someone who is a thief and who thinks that it's okay to rob someone's logos or designs, then think that today it's Louis Vuitton, tomorrow it's Etsy or Amazon. And if there's something super popular on Amazon and people came from nothing to the top because of their sales, because they invest in their designs, then tomorrow some Chinese manufacturer is just going to rob them, get their image, print this out, manufacture this overnight, and then capitalize on this small creator in the future. It's not acceptable to steal in general. And it doesn't really matter if you steal from a corporate machine. And even if they do steal themselves, they are criticized for this as well. They are criticized for hiring people and not paying them enough money. They're criticized for hiring people and literally making them slaves. They're criticized for so many things and they have to pay for this. But in today's episode, I was specifically primarily targeting the steal part and the stupidness of this entire situation. And I'm not pissed that they robbed Louis Vuitton in particular. I'm pissed that it is normalized to protect someone just because you're Chinese and you can protect Chinese brands. I'm sorry, guys. I lived in China. And I know that they copy everything. I know that there is a tendency in China that they manufacture a lot of products and goods from other brands because all of the plants and manufacturers, they are located in China. And while they do have certain, let's say, designs that can work for like one company, then they steal the design, they manufacture this and sell as a copy for a cheaper price sometimes, but still they are literally capitalizing on that. So you might disagree with me. You might think that it's okay to steal from any company. Is it a huge company or a small company? It doesn't really matter. If it's a Western company or like any company that is not Chinese, then it's fine to steal from them. Is it a logic of Chinese influencers? I believe. I don't know, but it's not okay, I guess, in any shape or form to steal from others, and especially intellectual properties. It's the same thing as AI, because like AI is basically combining like thoughts and ideas from people or like designers, and then it's creating some hybrid in a sense. And yeah, a lot of the times people, they lose their jobs because of this hybrid. And now we try to face a little bit different issue with the economy, and that people are struggling because they can afford to live because they were fired because of the AI. And where's the law system? Where are laws that have to protect people from being fired? I don't know. Because it's a corporate machine. And though I'm not a huge fan of Louis Vuitton or any corporate machine in general, I still think it's not ethnically okay to steal from others. I love you all so much. Let me know what do you think, guys, about today's podcast. And I'll see you next time, hopefully. Bye-bye.